Hello, and welcome to the No Notes Podcast.
Woo.
My name's JD.
My name's Morgan.
And today, we have a very special guest on his first ever podcast. Is that correct?
Yes, this is correct.
That's correct. Introduce our special guest.
My name is Jared Guffey.
Jared Guffey from Liberty University.
As you can tell,
Let's
Go
go.
Flames.
stay in the flames.
Why? Well, never mind. Let's explain the episode first before I just start asking you questions.
Why? We're going to answer some existential questions today on No Notes, such as, why? Today, in honor of all of the sports things that are happening around the world, both in actual sports competitions and in the movie world, we are going to be having our own little sport competition. We're going to be doing the first ever sports movie draft here on No Notes. So if you're familiar with the concept of a movie draft, maybe you've listened to The Big Picture. They do this pretty often over there. Maybe you've seen the one that Morgan and I did with our friend Kenrick years ago on YouTube. Basically, what's going to happen is we're going to take turns selecting a sports movie. And we'll get into some of the specific categories later, but we're just going to be going back and forth trying to put together the best roster. Like we're actual people in the NFL trying to draft the best team, all right? Right now I'm with Chicago Bears. I'm looking for my Caleb Williams, right? If you're with me.
Yeah.
I don't know how much the NFL stuff translates, but you can see I've got my Tennessee Titans hoodie on. Pick number 7 this year in the draft. This is coming out after the NFL draft. Anyways. But before we get into that, Jared, what's kind of your relationship like to sports in general, to sports movies?
You grew up watching them. They're very inspirational. I, like many people, grew up with like Rocky, Remember the Titans, and then if you're a Christian, Facing the Giants. Just a lot of team morale and boosting that those movies can bond people. So
Yeah. Did you play any sports in like elementary, middle, high school?
yeah, I played a bunch, but predominantly football was my sport.
Got you.
Nice.
Where'd you play? Like what position did you play?
A bunch, but that predominantly had me as a lineman. I was a little thicker back then.
I can see you as a lineman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Morgan, obviously, you're the queen of softball.
Yes, I love sports in theory. I love playing sports. I don't love watching real sports. Do love watching movie sports. So
Okay.
that is where I'm at on that spectrum. I played softball and golf growing up. Absolutely loved them. I think the Masters, which I didn't watch this year, but every other year of my life I've watched the Masters consistently. I like going to games in person, like get the hype, tailgate, that kind of stuff I'm there for. The actual sport occasionally is fun, but I don't regularly watch sports. But I do regularly watch sports movies.
So here we go. And I love football. I love basketball. Pretty avid sports watcher, but I feel like some of the most like famous sports movies are sports that I don't care about. Like I do not care about baseball very much. I don't really care much about like wrestling or anything like that. And like some of the greatest sports movies that we're gonna dive into today are about these sports. So it's pretty fun to watch movies about sports that I don't typically care to watch and kind of learn more about them and experience them that way. But it's also really fun to watch movies about sports I do care deeply about and be like, that's ridiculous. That would never happen in like this situation or whatever it may be. So
I do prefer watching sports that I myself have played, like movies, because I feel like I relate to it more, I understand it more. When I try to watch something that's something I don't really care about at all, like football movies, spoiler alert, I struggle to get into them a little bit, but
interesting.
Still confident that I'm going to pick the best draft, so no problem there.
What do you think, Jared? Do you feel like you have to like the sport to care about the movie, or?
No, I mean, I've never done boxing in my life, and the Rocky movies are incredible.
Yeah.
Well,
Classic.
not Rocky 5.
Okay.
There's 5 Rocky movies?
There's more.
Oh my
There's
gosh.
also Creed movies.
I like
Yeah, if
Creed.
you include those too, so there's way more.
Yeah. Well, I think we should get into the draft. Make sure you stick around to the end of this episode because Morgan and I are going to be revealing live on camera for the first time the movies we're making each other watch in our movie swap next week.
2024 movie
2024
swap.
movie swap. Last year we did Network and Your Name, and this year who knows what it'll be. Stick around to find out. We don't know. We're gonna find out at the end of this, so stick around. Let's get to the draft. All right, so for the draft, we're gonna be going snake style, like a fantasy football draft. There's gonna be 5 categories. So overall, we're gonna have 15 sports movies taken off the board. The 5 categories we're going to draft from are baseball movies, basketball movies, football/soccer, wrestling/boxing, and then a wild card. Any sport that you want can be in the wild card category. You could double up on baseball if you really want to, or you could go with something totally random out of the blue. So, everyone clear on the rules?
I think so.
Each movie can only be drafted once. So, if I take something off the board that I want, I don't want to give my strategy away. No one else can draft it. You could draft a sequel or a spin-off if you really care, but movies can only go once. At the end of the draft, we're going to put our lineups, Morgan, Jared, and myself, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, in the polls, and we're going to have all these avenues for you guys to vote. So, to figure out whose lineup you would most want to watch, who you think had the best strategy, who picked your favorite movie, whatever it is, and vote based on that. Vote with your heart. So I think that's about it as far as I've got for preamble. You guys have any last thoughts you want to get off your chest before we start the competition?
Yeah, I would like to say most of the sports movies I watch are not on this list, and I want everyone to keep that in mind. I'm an ice skating girly. I love ice skating movies, so I'm really confident in the wild card, and everything else just show me a little bit of grace in this one.
And if this goes really well, we could try another sports movie draft with some more obscure sports.
Yeah.
It would be harder for me. I don't know. Any last thoughts, Jared?
Let's get ready to rumble.
Let's do it.
To determine our draft order, we all have a D20 dice because this is a D&D household recording. So we're going to take turns rolling. Whoever gets the high number will get to draft first. Second highest, draft second. Lowest drafts third. But drafting third, you get the turn. You get to draft 3 and 4. So that's something important to keep in mind for strategy.
Great.
All right, so
Ladies first. Or are we
Morgan.
doing it all at once?
Morgan, go for it.
I'll go first. 18.
18. Jeez.
Feeling good.
Okay.
Feeling good.
Don't love that. 18. Okay, what's a reroll? Jared?
All right, so this better be 1.
11.
Okay. All right, Morgan. 3, 2, 1. Roll at the same time.
9.
1.
And 1.
All right. So, Jared.
Yes.
Wait.
Are
You
we
draft
counting
then
the
me,
first?
then Jared? Or-
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right. So Morgan gets first pick. I'll go second. Jared will draft third.
Okay. I think I'm going to go for the one that I know least, have the least amount of movies that I personally have seen. Are we counting karate in our wrestling and boxing category?
Ooh.
I think no.
Okay.
Because they are different.
Yeah, I think it's distinct.
It's
I would
fair.
say.
Okay, so I'm going to choose a cop-out, and I'm going to pick Rocky for my wrestling and boxing.
Which one?
I have never seen Rocky.
Are we just saying Rocky, like that includes all of them? So
Yeah,
Yeah,
can't
which-
pick that
which-
franchise?
which-
don't count.
Okay, so you're
Okay.
drafting the first Rocky.
I'm
movie.
drafting the series of Rocky.
Oh no, I think just one movie. Just
What?
Because they are different.
because they are
Rocky-
so each,
I feel like
Yeah.
they're not that different.
but
I'll take
They're different.
the
Trust me.
first one, which is the
Yeah.
best
That's
one.
the-
That's debatable, but yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
No.
I'll take it.
I was pretty confident that Rocky was going to be the number one pick all across the board when we went into
Wow.
this. That would have been my number one
I-
pick if we had done this.
I
if
have
got
seen Rocky, but I watched it a long, long time ago, and I never wanted to watch it again. But I did go see Creed in theaters, and I really liked Creed. Maybe I should pick Creed. Can I change
I don't know.
it? I already wrote it in.
You've locked in.
I'll
Rocky.
take Rocky. I'll take Rocky.
I think that's a strong pick. Rocky is one of the most iconic
Dun, dun,
movies
dun,
of all
dun,
time,
dun,
and one of the most
dun, dun.
iconic sports movies of all time. I
That's,
think.
that's that song in that movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eye of the
we
Tiger.
exited our wedding to the the Rocky theme song. So that is going to be my reason for
That's-
picking it.
that's awesome. Yeah, I was pretty sure this was going to be like the unanimous number 1 overall. Would you have
Yeah.
drafted this first if you had gotten to pick first?
No,
Oh.
I don't know what I would. Just whatever pops in my head first.
Jared's taking this casually.
Yeah, there's a lot of great ones out there.
That's true. That's what's so fun about
There's
this.
only one best one, and Morgan just got it. Vote for me. You're
I
picking.
feel like Morgan might have gotten it. Okay. So I'm going to pick what I think is the consensus second overall pick
Okay.
on my I made like a big master list of what I think would be like the pick. And I'm going to take in football/soccer Remember the Titans. Strong side.
Left side.
Thank you. Remember the Titans. Amazing classic football movie. It's everything you want a sports movie. It's the underdog story. You've got Denzel Washington killing it in there. You got baby Ryan Gosling in the movie as well, which I did not realize until I watched it this past March to
Nice.
prepare for this draft.
Little Kim.
Lil Kim. Yeah, I feel like this movie is super iconic, and it's one of the it's just one of the most inspirational, uplifting, fun sports movies that there is. So I love Remember the Titans.
This movie was the movie when I told people this week that we were filming sports movies. They were
Yeah.
like, remember the Titans? I was like, that's it.
And also Tennessee Titans, tighten up, baby.
Yeah.
No affiliation, obviously, but want to support my boys, my team.
Yeah, Red Wings. I bought this
Go
sweatshirt at
hockey.
the airport because I spilled chocolate on my shirt. I don't even know what state this is from. Sports, Jared, your pick number 3.
No, we're gonna let that marinate. No, so I guess we can pick from any of those categories.
Yeah, any category.
Yeah, you can pick from any category you want.
Shoot. Okay. Baseball. I'm gonna go for The Sandlot.
Classic.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love The Sandlot.
Sandlot.
Another super quotable movie.
Absolutely. I mean, you're killing me, Smalls.
Mm.
You want s'more? How can I have s'more something if I haven't had anything? Like, it's just great, and it's to me the movie that represents just like childhood and just growing up and
Yeah.
being a hood rat. So it's great.
It's so nostalgic. Every time I
agree.
see fireworks, I think of The Sandlot.
Or when you go to like a fair or something, I always just think of that song Tequila.
I think this is one of the most iconic sports movies for sure. This is the other one that I thought. I think all the ones we picked so far are like everyone's
Easy
favorite.
top
Everyone's
3.
seen them.
Yeah.
Total classics. So. Okay, and Jared, you're picking again because you're doing snakes. You're on the turn, so you get pick
okay.
number 4.
Golly, Pete. I can't remember the name of it to save my life right now, but I've seen it so many times.
Give us a plot.
It's Samuel Jackson's the basketball coach. Now I gotta
Samuel
go-
Jackson is the
Now
best.
Now I gotta Google it real quick. I apologize. I gotta Google
So
it.
you're taking a basketball movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson basketball. Coach Carter. Oh my goodness.
Coach Carter.
I don't know
Coach
that
Carter.
Okay, talk a little bit about Coach Carter because I've never seen it.
So Coach Carter is so Samuel Jackson essentially just comes into the school system to be the basketball coach, and like you have a young Channing Tatum in there. There's a whole bunch of familiar faces, and it's another movie that shows people at their lowest and they don't value themselves and they just don't see themselves growing in anything whatsoever. And then because of Coach Carter making them men, he's not focused necessarily just on the sport. Of course, he wants them to win and whatnot, but he's trying to make them the best men that they can be for their family, for themselves. So it's a huge, encouraging movie. Highly recommend it.
That's cool. Yeah. I feel like so many of these sports movies we're going to talk about is like you get like one really great famous actor, and we talk about this in our like sports movie deep dive. Like one great famous actor comes in and like shapes a bunch of like young athletes and like molds them, and it ends up being super cool and inspirational.
It
You
gets
remember the
me every
Titans is like that,
time.
yeah. So yeah, that's cool.
So
Okay.
good.
Coach Carter.
Also, so many like really famous actors were young sports movie actors.
In some shape or form, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy. Okay, it's my turn, and I'm gonna stick with basketball and pick Hoosiers. Y'all seen Hoosiers?
Is that the one
I've
with
heard of it.
Kurt Russell?
No, Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman. Okay.
Gene Hackman, one of my favorite actors of all time, from The Royal Tenenbaums and The Conversation. I watched this for the first time preparing for this. Yeah, it was Lex Luthor in OG Superman.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I love talking about Gene Hackman. I couldn't tell you why, but I love this dude. And he plays. It's pretty similar to Coach Carter. I think he comes in to a small town in Indiana where basketball is like the most important thing.
Of course.
And he basically transforms this town and this team through like teaching them like basic fundamentals. He was like a college coach who got fired because of his like personality issues. And then he comes in after like years being retired to this Indiana high school and totally transforms the culture in the city and rallies everyone around this like ragtag basketball team. And then there's a subplot where he's helping one of the students' dads who's like an alcoholic but loves basketball. And so he kind of mentors this kid's dad and trains him up and tries to help him get sober, like by being an assistant coach, and then helps like. And so it's a very like by the numbers sports movie, but everything from like the writing to the acting just elevates it to like another level. The basketball's really exciting. It's got so many great quotes. I think this is one of my dad's favorites, and he like told me like you have to watch this one for sports movies. So Hoosiers, I'm taking Hoosiers.
Solid choice. Jared, you should scooch this way.
Oh, my bad.
Slightly off the.
I'm just leaning.
Yeah, you're just chilling.
Okay, Morgan, you have 2 picks.
All right, I'm gonna stick with basketball. Same line of story. There's a coach who cares, and a team who cares about basketball. But there's a deeper story, and this deeper story is that he also wants to be in the School Musical. I would like to pick High School Musical as my basketball pick, and I think this is definitely a sports movie. Okay.
She got her head in the game.
Yeah,
so.
you got. That is so not where I thought this
It's like a struggle. He wants to play the sport, but it's not the only important thing.
It's not just who he is.
Exactly, and I think it represents the sport well. It's got iconic little get your head in the game. I think
it ends with the basketball game, right?
It
like
does,
that's like
yes.
a big sports movie cliche. Like it ends in like a big game.
Yeah. So I would count this. Are we all good with High School Musical as a sports movie?
I think we do it. Yeah,
Amazing.
I think we can be pretty liberal with our sports movie distinctions.
All right, I'm pretty happy with that.
High School Musical and basketball movie.
On the board,
wow.
baby.
Okay, your pick again.
Oh, okay. I think I'll go with baseball, which is my personal favorite. And I think I'm trying to pick between my personal favorite and what I know is like objectively really good.
Well, you're playing to win.
Yeah, because
So
Jared's got The Sandlot, which is like crowd favorite. So I'm like,
Yeah.
do I go for another crowd
I can
favorite?
give you a recommendation that you could take if you want it.
I've kind of
Sure, I mean,
liked
yeah.
this. Okay, I
I already
think
took baseball, so
it's true, but I haven't taken baseball yet. What if I want? What are you talking about?
it's true.
that's a good point.
I think I'm gonna go with Moneyball.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going.
That's
wow.
such a good one.
That's a great movie.
I actually
Big
watched
one.
this recently, and I seen it a long time ago, and like I kind of liked it, but I was like, it's kind of boring. Like, it's not really about because it doesn't do the classic sports movie like.
It doesn't focus on the game. It
Yes,
focuses on behind the scenes.
yes, but it's so cool, and it's such an interesting take. And watching it older a second time, I really, really loved it, and I think it's just genuinely a great film overall.
And you have
I
the less
agree.
famous Chris Pratt in it.
Yes.
True, yeah. Chris Pratt from Parks and Rec era.
Stud.
He does great.
That's a
Everyone
great
does
call.
great. Oh my gosh, that whole movie has a great cast.
Jonah Hill in it.
Brad
as the
Pitt and
accountant.
Jonah
Yeah.
Hill.
Philip
like,
Seymour Hoffman is the
duo.
manager. Like,
Yeah,
Yes.
dude, it kills. It kills.
I always remembered that movie. I watched it when I was a kid, and I remembered the song that the daughter sings Brad Pitt at the end. It's like the thing that stuck with me for some reason.
Yeah,
and then I
yeah,
watched
yeah.
it again as an adult, and I was like, oh, this is actually like an amazingly
Yeah.
written movie. It's like so compelling. And how can you not be romantic about baseball?
Exactly.
It's a great line. Oh man.
All
Okay.
right.
So it's my pick.
Yes, sir.
I'm debating. There is a baseball movie that I thought Morgan was gonna take. That now that she hasn't, I kind of want to go for it. But I also need to get a wrestling and boxing movie. Wild card, I have some fun options, but I'm thinking I'm gonna wait on that. And I'm gonna take in boxing/wrestling Creed, the Rocky legacy sequel.
Okay.
I watched Creed for the first time this year to prepare for this draft, and this might be like the single best movie that's been selected so far. The first Rocky, Moneyball are amazing. Sandlot's classic, obviously, and Remember the Titans is amazing. But I watched Creed, and this movie is electrifying. Like the energy and like verve coming out of every frame of this movie. Like you just feel so energized. There's so much personality and vibrancy in the directing, in the acting, in the boxing. Like you feel every punch. You feel the weight behind like Michael B. Jordan's performance. Sylvester Stallone is amazing, and I like truly was blown away by how good this movie is.
Absolutely.
This is like a sports movie masterpiece, I think.
I think it's so good because it does the legacy sequel thing really well. Because I went into it thinking like this is just Rocky, but in the 2000s or whatever, and I like went out really, really enjoying it. I think it did like just enough the same and just enough like really different in its own way, and I think that's what really like sets it apart from a lot of sports movies.
Yeah.
Especially that one take scene.
Oh man,
So good.
so good. Yes.
But I believe Ryan Coogler, like this was like a passion project for him, where it was like an unsolicited thing where they wanted to do another Rocky, but he's like, well, what about follow Apollo Creed's son? And now we got this iconic series.
Yeah.
How many have they made? 3?
3, and
Yeah,
I think they're in
development of a fourth
4,
one. Right?
and I believe they're doing a spin-off with his daughter. Like apparently she'll be a boxer soon.
That's crazy. It's like I'm totally in. I feel like I remember watching the Black Panther movies and thinking like, okay, like they're pretty good, and everyone would like. I feel like I heard like Ryan Coogler's like him, like he's the next guy, and then he got kind of like caught up making Marvel movies for a while, and I was like, yeah, I mean he's like, but the movies just kind of are like Marvel movies to me, the Black Panther movies. And then I watched Creed, and I was like, no, Ryan Coogler is him. This is amazing.
He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. Like, free him from the MCU. Like, Creed is amazing. I am so excited to watch whatever Ryan Coogler does next. I'm in. This movie is so good.
He's doing that new one with Warner Brothers. I think they start filming this year with Michael
They're filming
Jordan.
here.
Yeah,
And
it's like a vampire movie or something.
He is Michael. What I've heard. I don't know if this is true, but it's Michael B. Jordan as a vampire, hunting down members of the KKK.
Oh, great!
Which sounds awesome. I'm so in.
Like that?
So in. Yeah. So. Okay. Anyways, Jared, you got 2 picks.
Alrighty, so for football/soccer, that's where I'll be going. And there's this little film, kind of made an impact. It's called Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. I actually haven't seen this one, but
Isn't that a TV show?
Yes, so it was a movie
And a
first,
movie?
and then they made it into a TV show because it did so well. Yes, the movie is so great. I mean, it's one of those realistic films. I mean, like Remember the Titans is too. Don't get me wrong. And Remember the Titans is a more inspirational film, but like Friday Night Lights is like, I hate using the word gritty, but it's like a real gritty take on these kids' lives.
Yeah.
And they're just trying. I mean, it's Texas football, so they already know it's crazy standards with that. And so they're just really trying to make it to the state championship and prove not only to the world but to themselves that they're worth it.
Yeah.
And it's so good. And the show's great too. Shout out to the TV show.
I feel like the show like took over from the movie a little bit because I didn't know until I was researching for this podcast that there was a movie, but it was on like a lot of the list of like best stuff that I was reading to prepare.
Yeah, there's a lot of great actors in it too.
Yeah,
especially the guy from Tokyo Drift. Shout out to
Drift. That guy. He's from
Sean Boswell. I think.
He's from my hometown. That guy. Okay. Yeah, shout out. Okay, and then you have another pick.
Oh golly. Okay. So we're not doing wild card yet, but we're doing.
You can do whatever
you can
want.
go ahead and do a wild card if you want. You can skip ahead.
I'm trying to think of a good wrestling and boxing movie because those are the only 2 I have left. Would we include MMA in that?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So if we're doing that, it's not a big movie like Rocky or Creed. There's a little movie with I always mispronounce his name, Djimon Hounsou. He was in
he was in Guardians of the Galaxy, Gladiator,
all those, yeah. and it's called Never Back Down. He's not the main character. He's kind of like the Mr. Miyagi of the film.
Okay.
And it's like an MMA version of Karate Kid.
Nice.
And it's like super violent and like crazy over the top.
Sounds awesome.
It's like, this isn't realistic, but it's like just so much fun. So I'll probably go with that one. I was thinking that one or Roadhouse, but Roadhouse really isn't a sport movie.
What was it called?
No, I just forgot. Never Back Down.
Yeah.
Never back down.
Never back down, never what? Never
Say for
give
the
up.
people in the back.
Okay. So it's back to me.
Mhm.
I think I mean, I'll just do it. I'm going to take A League of Their Own in baseball.
That was my second choice.
That's what I thought you were going to take.
Yeah.
A League of Their Own is really funny.
It's so good.
This is like one of the only baseball movies that I was just like, man, like, don't you just love baseball?
There's no crying in baseball.
The scene where Tom Hanks shows up in like peas for like 7 minutes really makes me laugh. It's so good. And so yeah, it's about like during World War II, the women who start playing baseball to entertain people while their husbands are away at the war. It's really funny, super charming, compelling, and interesting. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I like loved it when I watched it. I remember just like laughing the entire time and just feeling like all the feels. The sister story at the center of it is really sweet. And I just think it's really sweet, like what they're saying about like, you know, the impact of sports and how sports really bring us together in times when there's a lot of a struggle in the world. And so it was cool. It's a great movie. You love this one, Morgan, right?
I love it. It makes me cry. It's so good. There's like so many storylines happening too. You have like the war and like all the women's husbands being gone, and then you have the sister conflict, and then you have the actual like just women playing baseball and like the struggles that they have, and then also just them trying to win the baseball league.
Yeah.
Right.
But
And
it
there's,
does
like-
all of them they weave together so well. It's so good.
And it does deal with like that sexism at the time where people just were like, you're lesser entertainment. And they're like, oh, we'll show you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a good movie. Overall.
And it's funny, and they like do it really like lightheartedly, but like deal with real issues. I just love it. Tom Hanks is funny and annoying as always.
I remember this movie, I was like, Madonna. I like
Right.
didn't think of Madonna being like an
no
actor,
makeup
but
on
like
or nothing? It's weird.
she was so funny in this movie.
But here's a baseball movie for you. I'm not going to use it for my wild card. But The Rookie with Dennis Quaid. Have you guys ever seen that?
No.
Oh my days. So it's like, that's a movie about consistency and just waiting for your turn in life.
Yeah.
I mean, because he was I forget how old he was. Because it's based off of a real guy.
Yeah.
I think he went to play for the Marlins or something.
Yeah.
And, but he was a baseball coach. And he made a deal with his players, like if we win like this game or championship or whatever, then I'll go and try out for the MLB.
Okay.
And like, well, coach, we held our end of the bargain, so you got to do yours. And so like, it's just his journey on him actually meeting his goal that late in life and just being persistent with it.
Yeah.
So it's really good. Highly recommend that one.
It's good. Morgan, you have 2 picks. Your last 2
All right.
picks.
I think I'm going to go with my football soccer pick, and I'm going to stick with, I've got 2 serious movies, and I'm going to go with my 2 not so serious movies. For soccer, I'm going with She's the Man. Also League of Their Own-esque.
Yeah, that's a good call. I didn't think about that.
It's like good comedy, simple, super short. It's just a fun movie. I've probably seen this movie way too many times. It's such an easy, like, we're just hanging out, we gotta throw something on, like,
Right.
She's the Man.
Nice.
It's so funny.
In Illyria, we don't discriminate based on gender. That's the only thing I remember from that movie. Honestly. It's the guy from Snatch. Is the coach.
Oh, really?
Did you realize that?
I didn't either. No.
Because I love Snatch, and Mariana and I watched that one together, and because Mariana loves She's the Man. And I was like, that's the gangster guy. It's great call.
Do we want to we all only have wild cards left. We want to do a little recap before we go into wild cards?
Yeah,
Sure.
let's do it.
All right, I've got in baseball, Moneyball.
Okay.
Basketball, I've got High School Musical. For football, soccer, I've got She's the Man, and for wrestling and boxing, I've got Rocky. I'm feeling pretty good.
That's a
Feeling pretty good about
lineup.
me so far.
Man, for baseball, I have A League of Their Own. For basketball, I have Hoosiers. For football, soccer, I have Remember the Titans. And wrestling, boxing, I took Creed.
Nice.
Good one. It's very good. Then for myself, baseball, I have Sandlot. For basketball, I have Coach Carter. And then football/soccer, I've got Friday Night Lights. And then for wrestling/boxing, got Never Back Down.
Nice.
So our wild cards, I mean, these are some good lineups. Wild card could
Make or break.
could really sway the vote here. So I don't know, Morgan, you got wild card pick first.
Man.
What do you want to do?
I feel like I already know what she's going to pick.
I have a
There's
theory. I have a theory on what she's
so
gonna pick.
many great things I can choose for wild card. But I've got like two jokey ones, so I kind of want to go with one that I like genuinely really like, even though some of my favorite sports movies are just dumb comedies.
At the end, we can kind of recap movies. We
Yeah,
didn't get to,
yeah,
I think.
I think I'm gonna go with I, Tanya.
Yep.
Oh.
That's what I thought you were going to pick.
Okay. I
Because
thought
you
were going
mentioned the
somewhere
thing about the ice skate girlies.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
I Tanya. That's what she's talking about.
I, Tanya is like number one, a great just story.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, and the movie just kills it. I think the actors are all amazing. Margot Robbie, Sebastian Stan, like, man, there's just nothing around this movie that I don't like. The music is incredible. I really love it, and I think it has the feeling of a sports movie. Even though it's not, I mean, it is about the competition, but it's more, again, about kind of the background and the nuances of ice skating and the competition behind the scenes, kind of. But I think he does it really well, and it really holds my attention the entire time. I think I can watch this movie twice back to back and love it just as much the second time.
Okay.
This movie's great.
Nice.
So boom, wild card.
Yeah. For my wild card, I thought Morgan was going to select something other than I, Tanya, and I've debated selecting it, but I've given it some thought, and I'm going to select Dodgeball.
Dodgeball.
You guys have seen Dodgeball, right?
Absolutely.
So long ago,
Ben
but
Stiller's
yeah.
I love Ben Stiller. I should have said this on our Hot Takes episode, our Take Purge, but like big like movie comedies, I typically don't find very funny. Like the Jim Carrey, Will Ferrell kind of movies, I don't usually enjoy. But Ben Stiller is my dog. Like I love every movie Ben Stiller has made and been in. I think Ben Stiller's the best, and his like sense of humor just makes me laugh so hard. And Dodgeball is like peak. Well, Tropic Thunder is probably peak Ben Stiller, but
Tropic Thunder is peak Ben Stiller for
but
me.
Dodgeball is great. It's
Oh
like
my
like the Zoolander, Tropic Thunder, Dodgeball trifecta of movies is like the best any comedy actor's ever done, in my opinion. And I think Dodgeball has like a lot of the great sports movie things you want. Like it's got the underdogs versus like the big dogs. I don't know,
Yeah.
the Ben Stiller
Big
team. You got the underdogs versus the champs.
The overdogs.
The overdogs. You've got David Hasselhoff in a cameo coaching the German team. You've got Jason Bateman as Cotton, or not? No, he's not Cotton. He's the drunk guy, and then Gary Cole is Cotton. And then you've got like the underdog team, the ragtag group has to come together and like pick themselves up by their bootstraps and take on everybody else in this absurdly silly competition. You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. It's like so quotable, so funny, like just one of the most fun times you're gonna have. And it's about a sport. It's about dodgeball. So
Yeah.
check out ESPN 8 The Ocho.
Such a good movie.
Jared, you have the last wild card.
Last but
So
not
my
least.
wild card. All right. It's Tenet. No, I'm just kidding.
That'd be crazy.
That would be wild.
So hear me out. No. Just kidding.
Make the case.
I'm torn between three, because one's technically not a sports film, but it is a competition film, and that's Top Gun. But
Nah, it doesn't count.
I
It
feel
doesn't
like
count.
that would, yeah.
But it doesn't count. If it was just competition, I would choose that one. But so then that goes between my last two, either Talladega Nights or Days of Thunder, another Tom Cruise movie. And I gotta go with Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder. I've never seen
Over
this.
Talladega.
So Talladega Nights is hilarious. It's a classic. But I feel like that was too easy. It was too on the nose. But
Be
Days of
Wild,
Thunder.
yeah.
Days of Thunder is such a great movie. It's literally, speaking of Top Gun, it's literally the NASCAR version of Top Gun.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony Scott, who did Top Gun, also did Days of Thunder.
I
And
didn't
you
realize that.
really feel like you're in the car with Tom, just like hugging the wall, trying not to wreck. And there's a lot of drama and romance. I mean, it's honestly like the NASCAR version of Top Gun. So it's great. Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel like we probably could have even done like racing movies as a category. So you could have had
Yeah.
Talladega Nights. You could have had Ford versus Ferrari.
Love Ford
Or
versus
Rush.
Ferrari.
Rush.
Cars.
Cars.
That was on my list.
Cars 3.
Cars was on my list for wild card too. I was like, maybe. If one of you guys took dodgeball, I was probably gonna take Cars. I also thought, Morgan, you were gonna take Happy Gilmore with you.
I was
Oh
so
my
close.
gosh.
because you
Yes.
talked about how you were a golf player. Like
Yeah.
I was like,
Happy
she's taking
Gilmore is one of my tops. There's so many good golf movies. I think they're underrated. People need to watch more golf movies.
Yeah. Have you watched, oh gosh, what's it called? Bobby Jones?
No.
It's so, Jim Caviezel's in it.
Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah. Pre-Jesus. But,
Jesus, Jim
but
Caviezel.
he's so good in it. It's about like this real guy. And we watched that before we filmed The Mulligan. Shout out to the Mulligan gang. But yeah, it was a really great golf movie, so I highly recommend that one.
Was The Mulligan also a golf movie?
It was a golf movie,
Okay.
but technically it's more on the spiritual side of things.
If I didn't pick I, Tonya, I was gonna pick Blades of Glory. Yeah.
Another figure skating.
Represent that ice skating.
Yeah.
I think truly my second wild card I would have picked is Surf's Up. 'Cause I think
Oh, that's
Surf's
a
Up-
good one.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what I was saying. Like
There's
all
so
of
many
my
sports
movies.
movies.
Were like not these
Yeah.
sports. I was like ice skating, surfing, NASCAR, like all over those
Golf.
ones.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I hadn't like Miracle, the hockey movie, was
Ah,
another
that's
one
what I
that I
thought
was
about that one,
like
too.
thinking about. That's another one I watched for the first time for this. And then The Karate Kid would have been like another great wild card Cal. Like I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's a classic.
They're filming another one
Also-
right now.
I
know I
love-
saw that. Yeah.
Have y'all seen Free Solo?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's a really good movie.
yeah, I
it's
was like,
rock
I don't know if
climbing.
it's a sport, but
Well, is that
It's like he's
technically
kinda
a
like
movie?
against
Is that a
himself.
movie?
it's a documentary. It's true.
He's competing against himself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any other ones that you didn't quite get to mention that
What's-
can't
what's
leave
on
here
that list? I
today.
can't see it.
These are all my sports movies.
Check
Some
out
of them are a
our
little
sports
far
The
movie
fetched.
list
longest
on our
yard.
list.
The longest
The
yard
Longest
is so
Yard. A
iconic.
classic. I also thought
Terry Crews with the cheeseburgers.
Peanut Butter Falcon. I almost put
For
in
wrestling?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I was
that
like,
would've
it's
been
a
a
creative
little-
Have you
pick,
guys
yeah.
seen the
Yeah.
most recent one, the Iron Claw?
No, but I want to.
It's coming to HBO
Oh.
later
I've
this
seen
month.
clips
I wanna
of
watch
it,
so
and
bad.
someone made like a little compilation of it, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, dude, that's gonna wreck. So I'm gonna
I
watch
know.
that soon.
I'm so excited to see
Oh,
that.
I also got to mention for baseball. I think y'all would have fought me on both of these, but I would have either chosen Twilight or High School Musical 2 for baseball movies. But there's too many good baseball movies.
There's-
Yeah, that would have been criminal. It's like all
I
of
feel
them would be
like-
like, what are we doing?
Wrestling and boxing to me was so stacked because you had the Rocky series. You also had Warrior. Have you guys seen Warrior?
Oh my
No.
gosh, yes.
Great movie. And Nacho Libre was
Yeah.
another one I thought
yeah.
of. Like,
A good one.
I'm proud I am. I sing that all the time.
Get that corn out of my face. Give me your sweat.
I'm really just smart.
But there's another great wrestling movie called The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
It's a depressing movie. It's an Oscar type movie.
But
It's
good.
good.
Yeah. I think if we're talking like some more niche sports, I think Blades of Glory was a great call.
Yeah.
Your list, Morgan, was very creative.
It's because I didn't have very many.
But
Uncut Gems.
yeah,
I
that's the
had
other
on
one
my
was gonna-
basketball list.
But does that really count?
I mean, it counts as much as Moneyball does.
No, but
It's,
Moneyball
like,
actually takes place
about
within
it.
the baseball
I mean,
community.
you're
Uncut
right,
Gems
you're
is just
right.
a scammer getting scammed and dies.
There's just like
Just
stuff
scammers
about
getting scammed.
basketball in the movie. Like Kevin Garnett's in the movie.
Yeah.
I think Bull Durham was one that I watched for the first time
Oh.
for this,
What'd you
which
think?
I thought it was great.
It's a good one.
It was very weird, but it was
weird.
like it's an odd movie. It was from the same writer director as A White Man Can't Jump, which I also watched to prepare for this.
Nice.
White Man Can't Jump was super fun. I like enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Bull Durham was very weird. It was super melancholic, and it was like. But I feel like Bull Durham is one that I watch when I'm like 50 and really appreciate because it's kind of about like the sorrow of like aging and like losing your dreams, but like the power of like sports to like help us accomplish things and achieve things. Very melancholic movie, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was very well made. I'm not a big Kevin Costner fan, but I did like Bull Durham.
Dude, another baseball, well, there's two that are great ones, is Field of Dreams. That's
Yeah.
such
I
an
also
iconic one.
I watched that for the first time this year.
So great. And then the other one, shout out to Tom Selleck, is Mr. Baseball. So he I think from what I remember, he like kind of gets kicked out of the MLB for just like being a hothead or whatever it was. So he goes to Japan to play baseball for their team. So he has to like learn the culture and like falls in love with a local woman. And,
Classic.
It's so good. It's hilarious.
What's the Looney Tunes basketball?
Space
Jam.
I just
Shout out
now
to
thought of
Space
it.
Jam.
Wow, that would have been a great call for. Okay, I think what we've learned is we have to do this again.
Yes, there's too
And
many.
expand the draft. Maybe we bring in
The
like
most
another
niche
drafter.
sport.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. We'll expand the draft
The best animated
categories. Yeah, and you could have like you could break it up into like like comedy, drama, you know, based on a true story. Like you could break it up that way. There's so many great sports movies and so many great ways to talk about sports movies.
Yeah.
This was so fun. I think to wrap up, we can each read our lists one more time, and then get the people to vote.
Yeah.
So Morgan, you want to start?
My list. I've got Moneyball, High School Musical, She's the Man, Rocky, and I, Tonya.
Nice.
Good list.
I have A League of Their Own, Hoosiers, Remember the Titans, Creed, and Dodgeball.
I think your list is gonna sweep with the dads.
I think I'm going after the dads. I think you're going after our generation with High School Musical and She's the Man and then Moneyball.
For sure.
Jared?
And then I got The Sandlot, Coach Carter, Friday Night Lights, Never Back Down, and Days of Thunder. So there's some B movies in there, so I think it's a little.
You've got like the sentimental. You've got the heart behind it.
I think
Like,
Jared's got like
I think
the heartfelt.
genuinely.
Jared's got like the dude crowd.
Well, it's not even just that. I feel like if these are like really, really good movies that you probably haven't heard of, that I highly recommend that you do watch if you haven't. So that way you can be like, okay, because everybody's seen Remember the Titans and Creed and High School
Jared's not
Musical.
trying to win this game. Jared's trying to win your hearts.
That's right. Yeah, look at them. Look at me. No, I'm just kidding. But it's good movies. And you'll enjoy the heck out of them.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Get to voting. Who do you think won the draft? It could be the best set of movies. It could be who had like a good like strategy. It could be maybe Jared's argument was super compelling. You're like, what? I'm gonna watch these movies. He won the draft because of that. So whoever you think won the draft, vote. It's going to be on all of our social medias. You can also follow us there. We're on YouTube. We're going to have the poll there on Spotify. It's going to be on our TikTok. It's going to be on our Instagram. And all these links are going to be in the description of wherever it is that you're watching this. So thank you for watching. Please like, follow us, subscribe, whatever the call to action there is that applies to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
see guys.
Jared.
Thank you,
for
Jared.
joining
Yes.
us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
You have anything you want to shout, Jared?
No.
All right.
Great. Thanks for watching.
Oh, wait. Before we go. Morgan and I are doing movie swap round 2.
Mm-hmm.
So we are each going to assign each other a movie that the other one has not seen and doesn't know about until right now. We're going to assign it to each other live on camera.
So excited.
And the other one is going to have to watch each other's movies. And then our episode in 2 weeks, our next episode, is going to be our movie swap, where we each review and discuss each other's movies. So if you want to watch these movies with us, you'll have 2 weeks to find them and watch them, and get on the same page with us when we watch them. So, Morgan, what is your movie you are making me watch?
I have chosen to change JD's life this week with a viewing of the 2004 film Kung Fu Hustle.
Oh,
Have you seen this movie?
No, I've never seen this.
It is crazy. You'll never expect what's gonna happen.
Okay.
It's Kung Fu. It is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. I think this is right up. Last movie swap, I picked one that I love that I didn't think you would like. This time I'm picking one that I love that like right up your alley of kind of movies that you enjoy.
Okay.
So I might have to rewatch it as well, just because I'm so excited.
That's really exciting. I'm really interested in this. Okay.
It's crazy, yeah.
I was debating between two, and I don't think you've seen either of them, but I'm gonna make you watch Almost Famous. Have you seen Almost Famous? No?
I don't think I've ever even heard of that movie.
I think this movie is so classic. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's about well, I won't tell you.
Okay.
I'll let you be surprised.
I won't even look anything up. I'll just start watching it.
But, so we're gonna be doing a movie swap of Kung Fu Hustle and Almost Famous. Last year it was Network and Your Name. I feel like this is two, again, pretty different movies. So,
yeah, good stuff.
All right. Thank you so much for watching.
Woo.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe,
Thanks,
follow,
Jared.
whatever the things are. Thank you, Jared.
You're welcome.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks for Movie Swap.
Woo.
Let's do it.
Bye.
Te amo.